Okay, you're ready to continue?
Okay.
So one more time, just to review, we inherited our post model here that we'll use to connect to the post table.
Post
We
table.
inherited the user model that we will be using to connect to our users table. We also inherit and added the auth class that will handle user authentication. And aside from that, we declare a new private property called user, and we injected
Use.
this user $and user object here inside our constructor, and now we have this final object that we can use to communicate to our users table. All right.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's go down a bit. So we have an index method here. So we also have,
Index.
yeah, get home post method. So we will be creating here another method that will retrieve all the list of users that the login users are not yet following. Okay, so I'm gonna add a memo here so that later on when you are going to revisit this code or function or method, you will know what it does. So this method is responsible for retrieving all the users that the current login user, or otherwise the auth user, is not yet following. Okay,
Okay.
and so we will call this one here as get suggested user. So we will make this a private method because this method should only be accessible within our home controller class. So that will be private function. We'll call this get suggested users dot, and then inside here we say all underscore users. We will use the object that we have created from the top inside our constructor, and that is $this user, right? We will retrieve
Yes.
every list of users we have, and then we will add here except, okay, except the current
Okay.
login user. So we will not include that. That will be auth colon user. We pass the ID. So we select every list of users that we have from the users table, but excluding the user that is currently logged in. And then we add here an empty array called suggested underscore users empty array. So note this array will hold the list of users that the current login users are not yet following. Okay, following.
Okay.
I'm just gonna make it like, I think it is much better if I will put it this way, like that. And then we are going to use here for each loop, and then this we will loop all our list of users. So we'll pass it here, and then we will give this a name here called $user. And then so we have the built not built in, but if you remember, uh we created the is followed function. Okay, um
Okay.
we will use the custom function we have in the user model called is followed. If you remember this one, this custom function that we have here will check if the user already following that user. So okay, let me continue here. That will be using if block in here, and then the if block will check here if user is followed, but yeah, this will return either true or false or boolean result. However, we're gonna make it reverse using the logical not here. So that will be if the user is not yet being followed. Okay, if that is
Okay.
true, okay, if that is true, we're going to insert that specific user to the array that we have initialized above. So I'm just gonna put it here, move this bracket in the right side, and I will insert the user. After our for each loop, we are going to return the suggested users. Alright, so when you're done copying the codes, just let me know and we'll move on to the next part.
Okay, wait a moment.
Alright.